Okay. What's up, Strike Team? Welcome back to another episode of Strike Team Official. We are gonna finish up our Seichin kata here at the statue of Uechi out here in Motobu, Okinawa. I decided to move locations. He hadn't seen it yet, so what do you think?
It's magnificent.
Magnificent, there you go. So yeah, I thought it'd be a really nice opportunity to do that. There's also, it's a big park, so there's a lot of kids. I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to put any kids' faces in the video. But we have some playing behind us, so if you hear any random banging, that's them having fun behind us over in the corner. We had just finished here in the kata, and you know, using that in the clinch range. So now we're going to look at the next step in the kata is you turn, there's a block and a kick. We've been over blocking and kicking 1,000 times, so we're not going to do it again. You just block and kick, okay? It's not that complicated. You can be in clinch range, grab, kick. It's self-explanatory at this point if you've been watching our videos. So the next technique in the kata is you're going to turn again, okay? So I'm going to actually do it facing you guys. And we're going to come in, and there's, depending on your instructor, I've seen it done a few different ways. You're going to come in and hit out, okay? Hitting out, I've seen it done with a normal fist. I've seen it done with a haraken. I've seen it even done almost kind of circular versus straight out like that. So like straight out, and I've seen it here, and I've seen it here, okay? So I've seen different versions done, but they all kind of give the same general principle of what you're supposed to be doing. So the technique for this is very similar to how in that opening technique, how I talked about blocking and defending at the same time. So that's one way in which you can kind of think of it, is a punch is coming in, you're not sure where, you're not sure what's happening. I will come in and almost defend myself and just go straight in and double shot to the top of the head. Okay, this is not something that you're really gonna see used ever in a combat sport, because at no place in a combat sport is he gonna be so unawares I'm gonna be able to double punch anybody like that. That's not a thing. But what might happen is if you're sitting here, again, look at it from a context of somebody who's, say you're a bouncer, right? And you're sitting there, you're talking to the guy like, hey man, let's calm down. And he's get fussy with me, you know? He's like this, right? He's like, calm down. And he go out to like slap me or something, right? Okay, and you're like, F you, and you use that and you shove them and you hit them off, right? So it's not something you're gonna see. We're not gonna be here, right? And I'm not, oh, that still kind of worked in that situation. I was expecting that to utterly fail. If we're here, right, and he sees me come in double, like if he sees me initiate and go in with both hands, a trained guy is gonna be able to stop that. You're looking at it from a position where like, hey man, let's be chill, and you're just like stepping in and hitting with that shot. So that's one way in which I kind of look at that technique. You're gonna see the different ways in which the punch is thrown to kind of symbolize different things. So one is you're going straight in and you're like blasting, doubling in the cheeks, and so say, just throw whatever, okay? And you're blasting up and hitting at the same time with both hands. Again, there's the one that's kind of curved, and some will say you're hitting your big knuckle and you're trying to go into the temple. And the haraken, I usually see as someone trying to slice above the eyes and try to create some kind of cut, some kind of bleed in the eyes to blind the opponent, that kind of thing. That's kind of how I'll look at it, depending on what you're doing. Another way you can look at it is, because if we're already like this, and it's like we're really fighting, I'm not going to use this technique, right? I'm probably not, chances are I'm not going to use it. So the thought process, say we're here, you're like, what's up? Like that kind of thing, right? You're like, get in my face, right? I'm like, hey man, calm down, so come get in my face. Hey man, calm down. Oh, that was really good timing. Totally shut it down. All right, hold on, do it again. So we're here, he's getting in my face, I'm like, yo, dude, chill. And I go straight in as he's shoving at me, and I double blast him in the head, okay? This is, at the end of the day, kind of a cheap shot from what you might say. Oh, he cheap shotted him, he hit him when he wasn't ready type situation. Listen, that's half of what self-defense can be, is you understand that the violence is going to escalate. You're in a position where you want to try and stop the violence quickly, and so your first thing is you throw your shot. Okay, so that's kind of how I look at it. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
the thing that needs to be highlighted, and we've said this before, is that Uchi used to be a security. He used to do security and he used to deal with alcoholics. That's why Uchi always highlighted tuck in, because sometimes when you're telling a person, you know, get away and stuff, the person's trying to hold on to your finger. The reason why we do these things is because sometimes we're dealing with combat sport situations, we're dealing with self-defense situations.
Self-defense or security guard type situations.
So when you're trying to apply the bunkai, as we're highlighting, you have to do not think of it as a form of combat sport.
Yeah.
Think of it as a form of self-defense when you're dealing with alcoholics.
Yes. And again, that doesn't mean it's not something you can't practice or something you can't drill or something you can't pressure test. You can pressure test this in that kind of situation. Have somebody coming at you for real. Put on protective gear. Have them shove you for real and blast it up there. Okay, and just practice. Put on gloves. Blast it up and you can work on this. Okay, make sure you can do it kind of with the real pressure. Right after this technique in the kata, right, you're going here. Oh, actually, there's another one. Another one you can do here. As you go in, boom, boom. Say his hands are up. You think he's going to come at you, throw a punch. My bad. Not a punch. Double shove at me. Shove at me. Okay? If someone shoves at me, like, hey, who do you think you are? Yeah, you know, like big man. Shove again. Okay? That is the other way in which some people will try to use that. Or go slowly so I can control it a bit more. Push again.
Wait.
Oh. No. Okay, so say he comes in, I'm gonna have him go a bit slower. So in that last demonstration, you saw me go around and try to go for the side of his head. What the kata I think is really kind of demonstrated is coming slow, is here and going straight up. So as he shoves at you, you parry it in and you like have his own body weight run into your punch. But that is something that's hard to drill with any effort or speed, because if I go with any kind of speed and he shoves for real, he's gonna fall into my hands and that can cause injury, right? So I don't usually drill that in that way. Just come forward and I'll boom, and you're hitting, literally having him run into both of your fists. So that is kind of the thought process behind what that technique is for. Again, if you're gonna drill it, I drill the parry and then maybe kind of showing it to the side. I wouldn't drill it going straight forward because it's hard to control that, okay? Then right after that, you go here, the placing here, here, okay? Now, that is also, I think, relatively self-evident. You just hit them backwards. Either you hit them as a surprise attack or you parried and you hit them back. They're leaning back, hands up a little bit. Or not hands up, just like in your position. Okay, I went here, boom. Now, the thought process here is you're coming in for a throat strike first, a grab, and a knee, okay? Very simple. You can take that a few different ways. Come in again. Here, boom. Oh, yeah, so that works too. Say his hands are already out here. He's already grabbing you. Say you're already grabbing me here, right? Well, what do I do if he's grabbing me already? Well, throat, open. To that weight position, you have the double insides now, and you're throwing your knees, okay? It's very similar, again, if I connect it to sport, to what you might see in Muay Thai if you're allowed to take your fingers into somebody's throat, okay? And I do want to clarify, a throat shot is not necessarily going to end a fight, but it's something I call a force multiplier. It's something that hurts much more than your average technique, or it stuns the person in a way that they're not used to. So boom, and then you're right back into, you know, your typical clinch positions, okay? And then from there, you have your strikes here, which is literally, as crazy as this is, this bunkai is known because it was actually taught from the people who created this particular kata. It's you're grabbing their special jewels. Yeah, you're literally grabbing them. If that's not street, I don't know what is. You're literally, Master Kin would be proud. You know, you're just grabbing them right there. And that's what this next part of the technique is demonstrating. There are some people who'll take, when you're doing this part in the kata, where you're shoving into like a nerve cluster here in the groin area, but the biggest nerve cluster is the groin itself, so why bother, in my opinion. Yeah, anything you want to say on those?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, let's go to the next section. We're going to end this part right here, and we'll continue the kata later. So please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Hope it is.